Welcome back to Organic Awakening, where we dive deep into the hidden truths behind the foods you eat to help you thrive naturally. If you're over 60, your doctor likely won't tell you that there are 4 cheeses you absolutely must eat and 4 you should never touch. But today, we're exposing the truth. Unbeknownst to you, consuming the wrong kinds of cheese can increase your risk of heart disease by a staggering 40%. According to a study published in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition. That same study reveals how saturated fats in some well-known cheeses can silently clog arteries, spike blood pressure, and even trigger mini-strokes. And it's not just about heart health. Certain cheeses can accelerate cognitive decline, disrupt blood sugar levels, and inflame your body from the inside out. Think that grilled cheese sandwich or creamy wedge on a cracker is harmless? Think again, especially if you're over 60, when your body's ability to metabolize fats and sodium is significantly diminished. But here's the shocker. One cheese in particular is so dangerous, experts are now calling it a stroke on a plate. And odds are, you've eaten it. But don't worry, it's not all bad news. In fact, some cheeses can be powerful guardians of your gut, brain, and bones, if you know which ones to choose. So stick around as we reveal the 4 cheeses to eat and the 4 to avoid. Before we dive in, let us know where you're tuning in from in the comments below. And for more eye-opening health content, don't forget to subscribe to Organic Awakening and hit the like button to support the channel. Ready to uncover the truth? Let's get into it. Number 4. Mozzarella, particularly buffalo or fresh mozzarella. Put aside your preconceived notions about mozzarella. One of the greatest cheeses to consume after the age of 60 is mozzarella, provided it is fresh and lightly processed. Real mozzarella, especially genuine buffalo mozzarella, is prepared using just water buffalo milk, salt, rennet, and cultures, as opposed to the highly processed, rubbery shredded varieties that you can buy in plastic bags at the grocery store. This purity results in a cheese rich in high-quality protein, low in sodium, and relatively low in saturated fat. A study published in the European Journal of Nutrition revealed that older individuals who ate fresh cheeses like mozzarella that were low in salt had improved vascular flexibility and experienced fewer flare-ups of arthritis. Its high calcium to sodium ratio and inherent anti-inflammatory qualities are probably the reason for that. The balance of fresh mozzarella is another feature that makes it appealing to elders. Since it has less lactose, it is easier to digest and is high in vital minerals including calcium, phosphorus, and selenium. Buffalo milk in particular contains higher quantities of vitamin A and zinc, as well as greater antioxidant capacity. These nutrients are essential for older individuals to maintain a robust immune system and good vision. Additionally, it's one of the few cheeses that maintains significant concentrations of bioactive peptides, natural substances produced during fermentation that have been demonstrated to have blood pressure-lowering properties. Moreover, mozzarella has a large quantity of conjugated linoleic acid, a fatty acid that promotes fat metabolism and lowers inflammation. 2 factors that are crucial for treating chronic illnesses like arthritis and joint pain. Mozzarella is also quite versatile. Enjoy it in a simple salad, melt it over grilled veggies, or slice it onto tomatoes with basil and olive oil for a traditional array. Therefore, mozzarella is a great everyday choice if you're looking for a cheese that promotes immune, bone, and heart health without causing bloat or blood pressure increases. Number 3. Feta cheese. Given its salty and sour flavor, feta frequently surprises people when it makes the good list. However, here's the reality. Feta is one of the healthiest cheeses for those over 60 when consumed in moderation. Feta, which is usually made from sheep's milk or a combination of sheep and goat milk, has a distinct protein structure that is kinder to aging digestive systems and contains less lactose than cow's milk cheese, making it easier to digest. The nutritional profile of feta is what really makes it stand out. Compared to creamier cheeses, it has less fat, but it still contains a lot of calcium, protein, and vitamin B12, all of which are crucial for healthy neurological function, bone strength, and muscle mass as you age. The presence of probiotics or beneficial bacteria that are essential for gut health in feta is one of its most notable advantages. Probiotic-rich foods like feta can help improve digestion, reduce bloating, and even promote immunological function. Seniors frequently deal with digestive difficulties or diminished microbiome variety as a result of medications and age-related changes. A small quantity goes a long way without overburdening you with calories or sodium due to its briny flavor, meaning you don't need much to be satisfied. Additionally, because it's a crumbly cheese, portion control is naturally encouraged. A simple addition of a few crumbles to roasted veggies or a salad can make your meal more filling and nutritious. Feta can be made even safer for people with high blood pressure by rinsing it before use, which can reduce the sodium content by up to 30%. If you're concerned about salt, that's a simple adjustment that can make a big difference. Number 2. Swiss cheese. With its unique holes and subtle nutty flavor, Swiss cheese provides seniors with a range of health benefits. Swiss cheese's surprisingly low sodium content, just 54 milligrams per ounce, or roughly 75% less than most other hard cheeses, is one of its most noteworthy advantages. This makes Swiss a great choice for seniors who want to enjoy cheese without worrying about elevated blood pressure or heart health issues. One of the most naturally lactose-free cheese options, Swiss cheese undergoes a natural aging process that reduces lactose to nearly zero, making it suitable for those who become more lactose-sensitive with age. Research also highlights the particular bacterial cultures used to make Swiss cheese, such as Propionibacterium freudenreichii, which produce beneficial compounds during fermentation that have been linked to enhanced immune function in older adults. Vitamin K2, produced by the same fermentation processes, is essential for preventing calcium buildup in arteries while guiding it to the bones. With approximately 220 milligrams of calcium per ounce, Swiss cheese helps older adults maintain bone density and meet their higher calcium needs. At nearly 8 grams per ounce, Swiss cheese is also an excellent source of protein, providing vital amino acids necessary to combat muscle loss, which typically accelerates after age 60. Its high vitamin B12 content, delivering almost 16% of the recommended daily intake per ounce, makes it particularly beneficial for brain health, addressing the decreased absorption of B12 that often accompanies aging and affects cognitive function. Additionally, according to recent studies, the specific fatty acid composition of Alpine-style cheeses like Swiss may help lower inflammatory markers in seniors. For elders, the characteristic holes in Swiss cheese actually have a functional purpose. They are created by gas-releasing bacteria that aid in the breakdown of the cheese's components as it ages, making it easier to digest. Number 1. Goat cheese. Goat cheese is one cheese that deserves a regular spot in your refrigerator after age 60. Beyond being a deliciously creamy treat, goat cheese is one of the most nutrient-dense, anti-inflammatory, and easily digestible cheeses available. Its fat structure, made up of short and medium-chain fatty acids, is especially beneficial as metabolism slows down with age. These fats are easier for the liver to process and less likely to be stored as body fat. Even better, goat cheese is generally lower in casein, the main dairy protein that can be difficult to digest, and lactose, making it more gut-friendly and less likely to cause bloating or discomfort. Goat cheese is also rich in probiotics, the beneficial bacteria that support immunity, digestion, and even mood regulation. Since the diversity of our gut microbiome declines with age, potentially impairing immunity and increasing inflammation, goat cheese can help restore that balance naturally. It's also a good source of zinc, which promotes tissue regeneration and immune function, and selenium, vital for thyroid health and antioxidant protection. However, its contribution to brain health is arguably its most underappreciated benefit. Goat cheese is rich in healthy omega-3 fats and a specific form of vitamin A that supports memory and cognitive function. Nutrient-dense cheeses like goat cheese are currently being studied for their potential to prevent Alzheimer's disease and delay age-related cognitive decline. Additionally, goat cheese is typically free of additives and artificial components, making it a cleaner option compared to processed cheeses. Whether crumbled over a salad, spread on whole grain toast, or combined with veggies in an omelet, Goat cheese adds both flavor and functionality to any meal. Now that we've covered the top 4 cheeses you should include in your diet after 60, let's shift gears and discuss the 4 cheeses you should absolutely avoid. Would you like me to proceed with the cheeses to avoid section? Let's move on to the less desirable ones, which you should absolutely stay away from if you're older than 60. American cheese comes in at number 4. Even while it could make you miss grilled cheese sandwiches from your youth, this cheese-like product shouldn't be a part of your diet as you get older. In all honesty, American cheese isn't really a cheese at all. Emulsifiers, additional salt, artificial coloring, and preservatives are blended with real cheese to create this processed dish. You should be concerned about the sodium content alone, as one slice contains about 15% of your daily recommended intake. This extra salt load can have a big effect on blood pressure control for seniors who are already dealing with cardiac issues or hypertension. Since gut health directly affects immune function and inflammatory levels throughout the body, it becomes more crucial to maintain gut bacterial balance as we age. The emulsifiers used to generate that smooth texture have been related to disturbances in gut flora. Additionally, processed cheese frequently contains artificial phosphates that might hinder calcium absorption, which is a serious issue for elderly people who are already battling age-related bone loss. These phosphate additions, which have been particularly investigated in older populations, exhibit a startling association with accelerated arterial calcification, which is essentially a faster rate of artery hardening that happens naturally as people age. There are plenty of better cheese alternatives that can satiate your appetites without the unsettling additives, so the convenience just isn't worth the health trade-offs. Third, blue cheese. This is when things become complex. Although blue cheese frequently exudes a sense of gourmet refinement, it can quickly become harmful to elderly people. The distinctive marbled mold isn't merely for flavor. It's penicillium mold, an active fungus that generates biogenic substances like tyramine and histamine. These are quickly broken down in younger, healthy people. However, as people age, the body's enzymatic activity declines, and these substances persist, leading to actual injury. A 2023 study published in the journal Food Chemistry claims that elderly persons who consume high amounts of tyramine may get migraines, significant blood pressure rises, and even cardiac arrhythmias. Some people experience dizziness at the beginning of this biochemical roller coaster, which finishes with ER visits. Blue cheese's mold concentration raises the possibility of listeria contamination as well, particularly if the cheese is soft, unpasteurized, or stored incorrectly. That is a potentially fatal infection for people with weakened immune systems. What's frightening is how silently it hits. Light palpitations, a throbbing headache, or a flushed face could be the initial symptoms. Then comes the tightness in the chest, ringing in the ears, and a heavy feeling of pressure that is frequently mistakenly attributed to aging or stress. In actuality, your vascular stability is being gradually eroded by a neurotoxic overload. Additionally, blue cheese is a complete no-go if you have kidney issues or high blood pressure. With over 400 milligrams of sodium per ounce, it's among the saltiest cheeses on the market. Some milder cheeses have twice that amount. You're facing a perfect storm of risks that can block your arteries and raise your blood pressure when you combine it with the high cream content seen in some blue cheese variants. Many folks don't associate their favorite blue cheese wedge with their frequent headaches or stomach aches. However, it frequently serves as the covert reason for enigmatic chronic symptoms in older persons. Cream cheese comes in second. Cream cheese doesn't appear too offensive at first. It spreads well, is soft, and goes well with morning bagels. However, that silky feel conceals a potentially harmful fat bomb, particularly for anyone over 60. Cream cheese has little protein and a lot of saturated fat. In other words, it provides you with a low-nutrient, high-calorie hit that falls short of meeting your body's actual nutritional requirements. Rather, it promotes the storage of fat, particularly in the stomach. Weight management becomes even more difficult when an energy-dense, nutrient-poor food like cream cheese is added to a metabolism that is already slowing down as a result of age-related muscle loss. However, Bacterial contamination is another risk associated with cream cheese that is rarely discussed. Cream cheese is more likely to have listeria, a dangerous bacteria that can seriously endanger elderly people due to its soft texture. Not merely a gastrointestinal ailment, listeria can cause septicemia or meningitis in elderly people with compromised immune systems. When cream cheese is kept out of the refrigerator, even for a short time, like at workplace parties or breakfast spreads, the risk increases. And here's something else. Cream cheese is frequently sweetened with flavors like honey walnut or strawberry. These versions covertly include additional sugars, which exacerbates the issue. Insulin is raised by sugar, which encourages the storage of fat and increases inflammation. Now you have to cope with foods that are high in fat, sugar, and possibly bacteria, all in what a lot of people think is an innocuous morning food. For everyone over 60, it's a triple threat that regrettably is frequently overlooked. First place, spreads made using processed cheese. The processed cheese spread, the kind that arrives in tubs, jars, or those tiny triangles wrapped in foil, is the one cheese that really merits the moniker stroke on a plate. It may appear harmless, particularly when promoted as kid-friendly or simple to spread, but don't be fooled. For everyone over 60, this is the most deadly cheese. Why? Since it incorporates the worst aspects of every prior perpetrator. A startling number of chemical ingredients, excessive saturated fats, and extremely high sodium. The way processed cheese spreads are made is what makes them so toxic. They are more than just softened cheeses. They undergo chemical treatment, emulsification, and stabilization using artificial substances such as sodium phosphate, a preservative that has been connected to kidney harm. Over time, they put strain on your kidneys, which might result in renal failure or illness. Furthermore, this is hardly a fringe hypothesis. Phosphate additions in processed foods have been linked to declining kidney health in a number of studies, including one from the National Kidney Foundation. Ultimately, cheese need not be the adversary of good health after the age of 60. It might actually be one of the tastiest items in your nutritional toolbox if you choose it carefully. Knowing which ones gradually work against your aging body and which ones support it is the key.